Hello Veda lovers, hi Veda lovers. Today we're gonna speak about the Rig Vedic civilization, and it's a huge thing. First I show you that my translation of the Rig Veda in 2 books. The second one is here, complete translation, and I did it in French and in English. This is the English version. You can find it everywhere, and if you don't have money, you can go on my website. The address is in the description of this video. You can find PDF files, you download it, and you can have it if you don't want to have a book. It's not expensive, but in French it is 4 times this price, and I could not do it lower, you know. So I'm talking about the Rig Vedic civilization, not the Vedic civilization, which happened in later with the Mahabharata and the Ramayana and other books. This is the Rig Vedic civilization only, and it starts maybe at least 4000 BCE, 6,000 years ago. We could find that with an eclipse, solar eclipse, complete solar eclipse that happened in February the 19th, 3929. With a calendar. With another calendar, it's 3928. It's 3 months of difference between these 2 calendars, Christian calendars. They did an error, and they corrected. They had 3 months to pass from a year to another one. And these civilizations may be much older, because there are a lot of hymns to Indra, talking about wars between Aryas and Dasyu, associated to a big drought that happened maybe 5000 BCE around, of course. And this drought happened everywhere on Earth, and dried up the Sahara and Egypt and many places all around the world. And during this big drought, there were many people moving from a place where there were no water to a place where there was water, and maybe wars happened. And so this hymn to Indra are mixed with the drought and the coming of these people. Maybe it was this Aryan invasion, but much more older than what is said usually. So why we had that date, and I told you it was during a solar eclipse that we could find exactly. The address of the website where you can find all the eclipse you wanted. It's very easy to use it. The address is in description of this video. You can go there. It's in French, but you have just to enter a date, and you have the maps and everywhere. It's very, very, very useful. I go on. Alors, before this, they built cities. They were living in villages. All the people of this time were living outside in the countryside, of course, because there were no cities. They were farmers. They had cows and horses. Horses, not that much. They had some, but they had cows, and because when you were there were no money at this time. There were no money. And your bank account was your cow health. If you have many cows, you were very rich. If you have no cows, you were not rich. That's all. In that civilization, as I said, there is no tracks of very rich people, of two very poor people. No, there was no inequality. There is no difference between rich and poor, not as we have now. We have people dying in the street of big cities, in Paris, for example, dying of cold in winter and dying of hunger also. Even if USA and in rich countries, it's completely big madness. And what can we see in this civilization? First, I'll tell you, if you want to have a good book about the archaeology, you can get the book of Jonathan Kinoyer. You can find everywhere. It's a bit expensive, but you can get it maybe used, a used book. It's around 300 euros. This book is very, very good. It's very well done. And Kinoyer say it was probably the main part of this civilization was probably on the Sarasvati. And the Sarasvati, he said it's called now the Gagar. Gagar is the name of the other river between the Yamuna and the Sutlej, and it has been observed by satellite from the sky with. Don't know how you say that in English. They were very. These cities were built for the comfort to anybody. There were no palaces, no poverty, no temples, no army, no slavery, but comfort for everyone, good water to drink, and they didn't have to drink beer as in Egypt and Mesopotamia. And they had a very, very good, very good life. Before the cities, they were living outside, as I was telling it, but they were not alone. They were in all the countries like Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Iran, and India. They were almost the same. They had almost the same spirituality. Two of these countries were ruled by women in Afghanistan and in Turkmenistan, the Oxus civilization and the Karakum civilization. And in India and in Iran, was almost the same, but not. The men were ruling the civilization, but there were no. The women were not as today considered as second, not important. The women and the men were equals, almost equals. And we will see that because they were having the same spirituality. And I'm talking about spirituality and not religion. Religion for me is you must believe what a man, usually a man, say to you. He say, you must believe in that God and do what he say. Otherwise, you go and burn in hell. Spirituality is you try yourself and you go yourself to see what you want to see. That's a big, huge difference. Yes. Excuse me, I'm looking my notes. I've written too many. What was this spirituality? The spirituality was doing sacrifice. We call, European call that sacrifice. The real word is yajna. It means worship a god, gods, or what we want. And it was. I know pretty well the Agnistoma because in France we had a guy who wrote a big book about the Agnistoma. He found that he found all the elements in Shatapatha Brahmana or in the Aitreya Brahmana and other books, and he put that all together and he made a book called the Agnistoma. You can find this book and the reference of that book on my website, the rigveda.org. The rigveda.org. Yes. You can find that book there. The Agnistoma lasted at least, because it's a base of all these yajna. It lasted at least 5 days. The first 4 days were to prepare the mind. Donc, during 4 days, they were doing a lot of things with a lot of mantras, with a lot of rituals, a lot of things during 4 days. They didn't eat anything else than yogurt. Nothing else. They didn't sleep much. And the last night before the last day, they didn't sleep at all, and they played dice with a priest, waiting for the day. And the 5th day, they drank soma, which was the sacrament that they were doing this time. The soma is a plant. Is a drink made of the juice of a plant mixed with water and milk, and this plant is an entheogenic plant which contains tryptamine, which is a molecule that's almost the same that we produce ourselves in our brain. In the pineal gland, and in French I know epiphyse. In English I don't know. This is what this happens when you do yoga, pranayama, some asanas, some meditation, and if you do it pretty well, you can have this samadhi or moksha, or call that like that. That's experience. But with the advantage of the entheogenic plant is, if you set up a sacrifice, you start drinking soma when the sun rises, and the sun rises always at the same time. And if you try to have it by meditation, maybe you can miss. It's much easier. You drink, and after 20 minutes, you have this experience. I know it pretty well. I did it in a temple in Kulu. If you see where it is, in Kulu, and when you come into Kulu from the valley, on the left you have a small temple along the Vipassa. The river is maybe it changed the name. The river was Vipassa, and written in the Rig Veda, and I had it there, but I had it otherwhere and in other countries too. It's not a problem of. It's not the plant who gives you this enlightenment, moksha. It's you. It helps you to do it. It's a Shakti, it's energy, it's something very powerful, and it helps you. But if your mind is not ready for that, and if you have a big ego, it won't work. I know some very, very well-known Indians who tried LSD, and they said never again, never again, because they had a too big ego. I know others who had it very, very often, and everything was perfect. So, so the fifth day, they drink soma 3 times a day. When the sunrise, at noon, and at sunset. When the sun goes down. And so it lasts 18 years. 18 hours. And 18 hours, and I can tell you, it's a big, big, big thing. And you have the time in 18 hours to see everything you have to see and to understand. And the light is on your brain, and it's very, very good. The best description we found is Indian description is Sat Chit Ananda. Sat, to be, Chit, consciousness, Ananda, happiness, big happiness. Yes. And you what happened during this civilization? It was peaceful. Everything was going well until 2200 BCE, when a big drought dried the soma. There were in 2200 BCE a big drought that that lasts almost a century without rain. You can imagine that? They had no problem with water anyway, because they had a lot of rivers, so they used the water of the river for the culture, and you cannot see that they were not impacted in the exportation. You can see that in the artifact, nothing changed. But one thing changed. Nothing changed in the business and in the life of the civilization, but one thing changed, it's in the mind. Because with a drought like that, there were no more soma. The mushrooms, without water, without rain, you have no mushrooms, that's sure. Here in Brittany, we have these mushrooms, but they are disappearing now, not due to the water, because it's still raining, even if it's not raining as much as it was. But all the shit the farmers put in the fields to grow the plants. The chemical things that kills mushrooms. But 50 years ago, many people used it. I didn't, but I know the psilocybin, but I never eat that mushrooms. The psilocybin I had was going from a laboratory. And it's something you must try. No, don't say that. Do what you want. So, when this happened, it was a big thing because, as I told you just before, all the masters of the houses, all the rulers of the society had to drink and had to do yajna and drink soma. It was the only dharma that they had to do, the only law, or the only rule they had to follow. Do yajna, sacrifices, and drink soma. So they could not drink soma anymore. They changed the plants, and they tried to do almost the same with a mixture of ephedra, cannabis, and poppy, peyote. Well, I know pretty well also that mixture. I did it. No, it's not the same. You don't have the same experience. It can be very interesting, but not the main one. It's not the main one. And so this happened in 2200 BCE, and that changed a lot of things, because when you stop having these experiences, the ego comes back. These plants are known to kill the ego, and people the people who drink soma don't think always to themselves. They don't want to be the richest of the civilization. They don't want to be the king. They don't want to rule everything. They don't want to have all the cows for them. They know. The ego is away. But when you stop, it comes back. When you stop drinking soma, it comes back. And after this date, until 1900 BCE, it stood almost 2 centuries without drinking soma. Yes, it was some soma was left, and the priest wanted to keep it for them. They first take the shudra off the soma. The shudra could not drink soma, and after only the Brahmins. But it was at the end of the Rigvedic civilization. At this moment, the Sarasvati dried up. And if the Sarasvati dried up, it was a big problem, because Sarasvati was a goddess. She was a goddess, meaning the flow, the flow, of the water, of the spirit, of the light, of the illumination, not illumination, enlightenment. Sorry, in French it's illumination. So the civilization starts to become more like the classic Vedic civilization. But this peaceful period was during only for around 2,000 years, maybe less, 1,500 years. And after that, we had nothing, and these people had to leave this country, because there were no more water on the Sarasvati. So they go to the Indus, but there were too many. It was 5,000 people, 5 million people living in this civilization, which was for this time very, very important. So the people go to the Ganges plain, to the south, to Gujarat, which lasts 5 centuries more than all the rest of the civilization. People from North Afghanistan went up to Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, and all the plain, and maybe it was the ancestors of Yamnaya, maybe, don't know. And people from Iran go west. Some go west. They won't go east, because there were no water. And that was the end of the civilization. Well, I'm going to stop here. I'm not sure to have explaining to explain. I'm not sure to explain pretty good in English, because English is not my mother language, not at all. I can chat, I can talk, and I use my hands to explain also. But if there are something you want me to explain more, go in the commentary and say I'll read everything, and tell me I didn't understand why you say that, and I will answer to everyone. So if you want my book, I'll show it again. The Rigveda number 2, book 2. She is 7, 8, 9, 10 mandala, and the 6 first are on the first book. If you don't want to have a book, consistent book, you can go on my website, therigveda.org or rigveda.fr, and you go there and you can download the PDF files with exactly the same thing on in the PDF files. Well, I hope I didn't forget too many things. If you want, you can write me also from the website. I receive it in my email box. Well, so all my friends, I'm very happy to have done this job. Now I'm gonna write a book especially on the Vedic civilization, but it will take a long time because I have to pick up many things in my translation, and it a long time. I cannot tell you when, but it's a long time. So I tell you goodbye, and have a good time, and I wish you everything good and happiness to anyone. Canavo, as we said in Britain. It means goodbye.